PTE new updates. Yes, Pearson has announced changes for your speaking section. We were working more on the fluency and pronunciation part. We were actually after the fluency only. We used to listen that work more on your fluency in your describe image, but I think Pearson doesn't like this thing. They said you are not supposed to do this thing now anymore. Yes, you have to focus on content this time. Yes, PT speaking changes for describe image and retell lecture. You have to make sure that now content will work. Yes, you have to focus more on the content part now. Hi everyone, welcome to English Wise. So we will be discussing the PT changes in detail with updated templates. Yes, you can still use it, but I'll tell you how to use it and how you can trick that human expert too now. We are going to look at the first what Pearson demands and what it wants us to do. So PT academic scoring enhancement. It says we are improving the scoring process for 2 PT question types. Here's everything you need to know. So what are those things? So describe image and retell lecture. So you know describe image and retell lecture was marked 5-5 content, fluency and pronunciation. Content is of 5 points, fluency is of 5 points, and pronunciation is of 5 points. This time you have to make sure that content will help you to get score in your pronunciation, in your fluency too. Yes, you got me right. If your content is good, then only you are going to get score in your fluency and pronunciation. If content in both the sections, in your describe image and retell lecture, is not good, then you have to face struggle in your fluency and pronunciation. So if your content is good, good points. If your content is zero, then fluency and pronunciation is also zero. So first of all, the AI will be checking your response, and afterwards a human expert will be checking. So what AI will be checking? AI will be checking your fluency and pronunciation, and content part will be checked by your human expert. Yes, so content will be checked by separately, and oral fluency and pronunciation will be checked separately. We are going to look at some FAQs, like what questions students have there in their minds. So does this change affect the test format? No, there won't be any change on the test overall format, but there is change in your describe image and your retell lecture. Overall, it has to do nothing with the test. It is only for your PT academic, not for PT core. So your human expert cannot see your any of the information. They won't see your picture, your name, or any other thing. So don't worry, there will be no biasness. You won't be marked for that. You don't need to worry about it. So human expert won't be able to check your identity. No, your accent won't be judged. Students have this question in their mind that will my accent now be judged by a person? No, the human expert won't be checking your accent, only your content part. Until unless it's good to go, it's understandable, and it is relevant to the picture or the retell lecture, then you are all good to go. No, results are, there won't be any effect on the results too. So PT score as it used to come after half an hour, 1 hour, 2 days, max 5 days you will be getting your results. So these changes are only applied to PT academic speaking section, describe image and retell lecture. Is the change being applied to other question type? No, only the describe image and retell lecture will be marked. So no other question type got changes, but you know that essay got the changes. Essay has some changes that you need to add more content in your essay, so you have to make sure you work on that too. How does the double scoring method work? The same thing I told you, your content will be marked by the human expert, your fluency and pronunciation will be marked by the AI. But if you are lacking in your content, then definitely you will lack in your fluency and pronunciation. So will this change have any impact on test preparation? Not much. You just need to change your speaking style. You need to change what things you have to do. I'm going to explain shortly. So we have covered, so you should know that if the content is 0, then pronunciation is also 0. So describe image, you know that in describe image there will be an image given, and that will be given 25 seconds for preparation time will be given to you. After the preparation time you will have a beep sound, and then you will get 40 seconds to speak. Yes, it is important to speak at least 30 to 35 seconds. Now it is not that you can speak for 20 seconds. First the students were speaking just for 20 seconds and they keep on doing it. No, don't do that now. I'll tell you the do's and don'ts for your describe image. But when it comes to templates, so what you are supposed to do, we're gonna see the templates later on, but first what Pearson has explained us. So it's a glimpse to the Pearson website. There are some do's and don'ts mentioned by the Pearson. What are the do's? The first do for your describe image, what you are supposed to do in your describe image is that use your preparation time before the recording starts. You will get 25 seconds. Usually what students used to do in that 25 seconds, they usually write down the thing or any other template of Retell Lecture, and they won't care about the content. But this time you have to use that 25 seconds, because if you will be using that, then only you'll come to know what is the highest trend, lowest trend, what is it talking about, what is the categories in there. So all the information you should have now. Yes, make sure you speak for 30 to 40 seconds. You are unlikely to mention the key features in 20 seconds or less. Pearson has come to know and it has explained this thing to you, that you have to speak for at least 30 to 40 seconds. If you are speaking for 20 seconds only or less, so you won't be getting score for that. So you have to make sure that you describe your image in 30 to 35 seconds or 40 seconds. Do not do less than this. If you do this, you will definitely face score reduction. Next, use numbers from the image in your spoken response. Usually what we were supposed to do before or previously, that we were not speaking the numbers. We just highlighted the name whatsoever is given and we just spoke that and we got the score. But this time numbers are important, so you have to make sure you add on numbers if you want to get score in your exam. What are the don'ts mentioned? Use of memorized responses or template sentences. Example, the images of a beautiful graph shows information. So whatsoever templates you were using, the image is beautiful, I can see, and all the stuff is not working anymore. PTE won't accept that thing now, so you have to make sure that you don't use this. If you use pre-memorized content, you are likely to get a score of 0. If you are using the previous templates, you will get 0 in your describe image. So you have to make sure you use new techniques. If your content score is 0, then fluency and pronunciation will not be scored. So the same thing, if your content is 0, then your fluency and pronunciation won't work. No matter how better you speak, no matter how fluent you are, if content is not good, nothing is good. Next, try to mention every feature. You need to identify the key features in the image. You only have 40 seconds. So this thing, don't try to describe the complete image. You just need to have the valuable content which is noticeable, which is important. You don't need to have all over the content, because Pearson knows that in 40 seconds it is difficult to speak about all the complete picture. You can usually mention the small highlights over there. Spending too much time describing the labels. You are not supposed to spend too much of the describe. You are describing that A part is covering this, B part is covering this. No, we stick to the noticeable points, the important trends, highlights of the image. You just have to speak that. Add your own opinion when speaking. You should only describe. Okay, so irrelevant content. Usually I recently heard this thing that one of the students, what he or she did in her exam is, she was like she completely forgot the template. She just spoke anything, she just spoke a story or speak any of the song in a fluent manner, and she got the score. But now you are not supposed to do that. Irrelevant content won't be accepted now, so you cannot add your own opinion in your describe image. If you add your own ideas or opinions, then you are gone, you are not supposed to get score. So you have to make sure whatsoever content is given over the image, you have to speak that much only. So these were the do's and don'ts highlighted in the Pearson website. I can even highlight you that thing. Do's and don'ts by the PTE. Use your preparation time before the recording starts. Make sure you speak for 30 to 40 seconds. You are unlikely to mention the key features. Use numbers. Don't use the memorized responses. Don't try to mention every single feature. Spending too much time on the labels, adding your own opinion, similar things. So follow the PTE guide, please. That will definitely help you. So these are the common mistakes. What are the mistakes that Pearson has highlighted what students were doing? Test takers often mention only one or two key points when more details are needed. So see, it has highlighted now. It found that students were just speaking limited content. They were speaking for 20 seconds only. Those who are speaking under 20 seconds or 20 seconds won't be marked now. Test taker describe the image in a mechanical way, such as 2017 shows, 18 shows. So we were speaking like a robot over there. Before in my videos I have explained this thing, do not speak like a robot. So Pearson got that. He caught you that you are not supposed to speak like a robot in your exam. Test takers may have slow fluency, which affects their ability to cover the main points of the, or they may speak too quickly. That's the thing. Students were confused with fluency and speed. They were speaking in a so rushing manner. They cram the template. They keep on speaking, and your score went low. See, all the common mistake Pearson has caught. Now Pearson caught you. You have to be safe and use the templates. So if you see what Pearson expects, let's see, this is a bar graph given by the Pearson, and it has given some explanation. So this bar graph shows us the sightings of dolphins and whales in the bay. So is, for example, 2017 522 whales were seen, whereas in 18 253 whales were seen. You remembered IELTS, right? I know IELTS writing task 1, similar to that. Now you have to follow that pattern, yes, to get the score. However, in 2019 it was the opposite. There were more sightings of dolphins, and then in 2020 we can see that there were more sightings of whales, again with around 700 whales being seen, only 500 dolphins being seen, more whales. So you see, there is no I can see, no conclusion, nothing. There is a beautiful image, nothing has been used. And Pearson, what comments it has given? Excellent answer for the content. It mentions all the elements of the image. It also draws a conclusion. Look at the relationship. Example, more whales than dolphins were sighted in 3 or 4 years. So you can see PT wants this if you want to get 90. Yes, you have to be self-explanatory now. Don't worry, I'm gonna help you with that. Some lines still we gonna help you with templates. We're gonna mix like they have mixed up AI and human. We're gonna also mix up our students and our templates, so you will get a good score in your exam. So these are the guides. I'll definitely attach the link and share it with you. So poor sample answers. It shows an increasing amount of spotting of dolphins throughout the last years. Similar. This is a poor answer. This is a very informative and interesting picture. It shows 2017, it shows 18, it shows 19. So our templates are poor now according to Pearson. You can't use these old previous templates. They are not working anymore. So if you are still using that, make sure you stop doing that. So you have to work on the things. I'm going to tell you a new template. So template is something like this. I'm going to zoom it for you. So there will be an image. You have to give introduction. So you have to tell the dash provides information about the main topic of the image. Let's say the dash. What is the dash? Let's say pie chart, bar graph, you get line graph, any picture, map, table, all the things you get. So you have to make sure you add that specific thing. Let's take an example. The pie chart provides information about preferred mode of computing. So this was the title here, and it is called a pie chart, and previously I have shown you a bar graph. So first line is done. Second, to begin with, it shows data on categories or items shown. So you are not supposed to speak this black heading, you just have to take the highlight. To begin with, it shows data on modes of computing such as metros, car, bike, locals, and all these things. You can see here the highlight. You have to explain the names what has been presented here. Next thing, the y-axis represents, you can see in the pie chart we don't have y-axis and x-axis, so you don't need to speak this line in a pie chart. X-axis and y-axis you can get in bar graph, line chart. So you can speak this line when it comes to a line chart or a bar graph. So we don't need to speak it. Next thing, if we see key observations you have to speak. It is clear from the image that the highest value is. So now it is clear from the image that the highest preferred mode is for metro, which is 24%. That goes here, which is 42%. While the lowest preferred mode is car, which is 11%. Another noticeable point is that local bus and bike are preferred almost equal, which is 24% and 23% respectively. I have explained the main major trends over in there, spoke the lines, categories, and then you can speak in this way. Overall, the image displays a general pattern of preferred mode of computing, which indicate the metro is the most preferred mode of computing. So you have to use this template. You can definitely take the screenshot of it and use it. You will definitely get 90 on 90 in your speaking section. So this is the template, and how to use it, you can take the screenshot of this example too. And don't forget to follow the do's and don'ts of your PTE test. Yes. Next come Retell Lecture. First we're gonna look at the PTE guide, what it demands from us for Retell Lecture. Then we're gonna switch. Okay, the Retell Lecture. You will listen to an audio from an academic lecture. So in Retell Lecture, we will be listening to a lecture. We have to note down some keywords. No keywords anymore. We need phrases. I always used to say this thing, catch phrases, and Pearson wants the phrases only. So you will need to take notes as you listen to the lecture. After the audio ends, you have 10 seconds and then microphone open. So you have to take notes, you have to note down the phrases, and after the audio ends, you have 10 seconds to prepare. Retell the lecture in 40 seconds. He told about this. He told about that. He told about, the speaker says. You are not supposed to use that particular thing anymore. Let's see the practice tips. Have your pen and erasable notepad ready for this question. You should know that your pen, and you have that pen and paper in your hand. As soon as the listening begins, you make a horizontal or vertical line table. You put your notes in there. You put your keywords in, not keywords, you put your phrases. I'm still habitual to that thing, but you shouldn't be anymore. We need phrases. So add your phrases in there, and then it should be clear, not messy, so that you can speak it properly. Once the microphone opens, you have to start speaking the same thing. So make sure the phrases are quite relevant, connective, and constructive. It shouldn't be like in the morning, in the evening, I had this, I had that. You are not supposed to do that. You have to make sure whenever you are doing this thing, it should be meaningful phrase and connective. I'll show you an example for that too. What to include in your response. When retelling the lecture, strong answers include the topic, the key points, characters, actions, show connection between these points, make a conclusion at the end. Sorry. So you have to make sure whenever you are doing this Retell Lecture, now your answer has to be relevant. The data has to be relevant and meaningful. Your answer should look like that you are conversating or you are telling something in a proper manner. It shouldn't be crammed or pre-memorized thing. If you still do so, no scores to you. Your response should always be an original response. Important note by Pearson that your response should always be an original response created on test day. It shouldn't be pre-memorized, it meant. It should use your own words and summarize the lecture using relevant language. You have to make sure that you follow this thing. Sorry, you have to make sure that you follow this thing. If you want, then no scores to you. So you have to be very clear. See the sample response. The talk was about a scientific process of making new recipes. So for chefs making cookery books or making recipes for other chefs, they said attention to detail is really important, and the chefs normally use a test kitchen where every single step is recorded. Don't be worried, with practice you will be able to catch this kind of content. So you see, PT wants this now, Pearson wants this. Let's look at the do's and don'ts. So first, do. Very first thing is, take notes as you listen. Write down keywords and phrases in a way that you can easily read. So you have to make sure you take down the notes of things that you can easily read. If you won't do this thing, then you definitely, if content is messy, no content, everything is gone, everything will be zero. So you have to make sure you are focused more in this. Use punctuation such as hyphen, equals, and, plus, arrows, bullet point to show connection. So it should be like, you can make a circle that this phrase is connected to this phrase is connected to this phrase. It shouldn't be like it's not connected to each other. Content has to be I'm speaking it again, sorry. Content has to be relevant. So you have to make sure that content is relevant. You are not supposed to do anything which is irrelevant. Now if you still do so, no scores. Talk about the key points but also the characters. The same thing it mentioned in your describe image. It has to be like key points, main characters, main aspects, main trends, main relationships between the information. It has to be highlighted. So you have to make sure you focus on this thing. Try to speak up for 40 seconds. The longer you speak, more chance you have of covering the content. So you have to make sure, if you want to get the score, more content, more marks. That's the thing. You can use the linking words, so, then, which, who, that, and to connect your ideas. Stop using moreover, furthermore, these kinds of words. Use these instead. Don'ts again, it says the same thing, that you cannot use the pre-memorized template. If you're still using that pre-memorized template, then you are not supposed to get any of the score. Content 0. Similar to describe image, fluency, pronunciation goes to 0. Just mentioning the keywords, if you're still mentioning the keywords only, no score. Like recipe, food, cook, such things, you are not supposed to get any of the score in there. So you have to be careful that you use the content which is meaningful. Don't try to mention everything the lecture mentioned. If you do so, then score will go down. So try, what you can do is, I have seen students, they try to cover up all the mistakes. It's retell, not repeat. It's retell. You have to retell, you have to summarize the thing. You can't tell the complete information, you can't have all the sentences. Have main highlights and speak for 35 seconds is more than enough. If you are still speaking for more or less than 20 seconds or 20 seconds, your score will definitely go down. Adding fillers which do not connect to the lecture, for example, that is my answer to this question, and final conclusions have been mentioned. If you use these words, then definitely your score will go down. You are not supposed to use these kind of connectors anymore. So lecture sample, I'm going to show you a transcript. This is a transcript, that means this audio was there. The PT highlighted this transcript, and what PT demands, see the response. The talk was about a scientific process of making recipes. So for chefs making cookery books or making recipes for other chefs, you need to have these kind of phrases. If you do so, then only you are going to get score. They said attention to detail. You have to make sure you have this kind of content. If don't, then no scores will be there. average sample answer. So this is about the process of chef creating your recipe. Basically have to repeat the process many different times to perfect. If you are speaking in this way, you will get average response, not a good points in this. And if you still say the lecture gives important information about, firstly the speaker explained the recipes, after that the speaker mentioned, the speaker also highlighted, you are using this, then you won't get any of the score in this. You have to make sure that you use the templates, but try to add the phrases. It has to be meaningful. So if we look, we have looked at the do's and don'ts, and so this is the template. So lecture was based on main topic. The speaker's first points were about, now you have to have phrases, meaningful phrases. It shouldn't be in the morning, in the evening, going to park or such kind of things. It has to be meaningful phrases, no keywords please. Single keywords won't work anymore. Phrase 1, phrase 2 and phrase 3. Another thing he then discussed, phrase 4, phrase 5 and phrase 6. Use phrases. Further information was presented on phrase 7 and 8. Towards the end, the speaker focused on phrase 9. You can use this thing. I'll show you an example again. The lecture was based on the scientific process of the creation of new recipes. The speaker's first points were about a collection of recipes, devising a recipe and attention to detail, completely relevant. He then discussed that chefs have a test kitchen, the balance of ingredients, cooking temperatures and cooking times are correct. Further information was presented on giving feedback to the chef, and instructions are easy to follow. Towards the end, the speaker focused on the process of developing recipes. You have to make sure that in Retell Lecture you have, if you are able to catch sentences, then also it's more than enough. You, if you're catching sentences and if you want to do it in your own way, that's a very good thing if you want to explain it. But using this templates, you can use it. You can have a screenshot of the template, and also you can definitely take the screenshot of the how we can use it. But the main thing is content. Now you need to work more on the content. If you are not working more on the content now, then no points. If you are aiming for even 55, 60, 79 plus, you need to make sure that you have content now. More content means more marks. In describe image and Retell Lecture, follow these tricks, that will definitely help you and update yourself. Thank you so much everyone. We'll see you in the next video. Make sure you watch it again so that you can definitely have a revision what you are supposed to do and what PTE demands. Thank you so much everyone.